guys, welcome back to Man Cave Collectibles. Coming at you today with a really cool figure review. We've got the brand newly released Cyborg Spider-Man figure on the Retro Card from the Marvel Legends line. So really excited to have this in hand. At first I wasn't 100% sure I was going to grab this guy, as he's not really in line with what I collect as far as the Marvel Legends are concerned, but once I saw him in package, I just went ahead and had to pick him up. So here he is before us today on the review table, looking fantastic. As always, I'm regrettably removing this guy from the retro card back in order to do the review. I love these card backs that they do with the retro Spider-Man wave. I like it even more so than the retro like X-Men card backs. I like those too, but it's just something about these Spider-Man card backs that just really hits home for me and takes me back really to my childhood. Let's talk really briefly about Cyborg Spider-Man. So Cyborg Spider-Man first appeared back in the 90s in Spider-Man number 21. He was really a repair job on Peter Parker after he had really been kind of decimated at the hands of the Sinister Six. Technically, a person named Solo, who the Sinister Six, Mysterio, made believe that Spider-Man was a villain. You know how Mysterio has kind of those powers to make you see something you really don't. So Solo really put a beating on Spider-Man. A guy named Cyborg X ended up saving him, taking him to a cybernetic facility in order to kind of help him get better. And what we see here are some of the repairs that were made. Now, as far as his arm is concerned, this is really more of a cast over his actual arm. It is not a true cybernetic arm like we see on the Winter Soldier. It's just to protect the arm while it heals. I think some folks probably see that as a true cybernetic arm. Well, it's not. It is just to protect that arm. So it's really, really cool. And one thing they did, and we'll look at it, is that it's pretty beefy. So it kind of gives that appearance that it could be big enough to kind of fit over Peter Parker's arm there in his suit while it heals up. So let's go ahead and take a look at this retro card. As we can see here, we've got a really cool image of Cyborg Spider-Man. Looks like kind of maybe a shot out of the comic book. I don't know that it is, but it looks really, really good. Obviously, we can see him here on this blister card pack in all his glory. The few accessories that he comes with are there. Got that retro Spider-Man logo up top, kind of the city in the background. Flipping to the back, sticking with that retro card back. Got an image here of the figure. A little bit about Cyborg Spider-Man. Has enhanced cybernetic capabilities in addition to all the powers of Earth 616 Spider-Man, web slinging, wall crawling, and heightened spider senses. Villains are no match for this Spidey's advanced cyborg technology. So as it says there, the enhancements that he was provided from the cybernetic facility did kind of enhance his power some, but it didn't truly turn him into a cyborg. Kind of to note too, we've got that Marvel Comics kind of retro logo, which I really like as well. Missed that kind of when we were looking at the front. But let's go ahead and crack this guy out of his packaging, see what we got. All right, guys, we got Cyborg Spider-Man out of his packaging and onto our review table. As always, let's jump right into the couple accessories that he got. So you can see his hands there. He does have his web thwipping hand on the right side, and then his cybernetic hand with a fist on the left side. So what they gave us was a second option for his right hand, which is just a fist hand. Looks good, painted up well. The lines are painted on, not sculpted, but it looks good nonetheless. And then the second accessory that he gets is an actual web or webbing. It's kind of got this area down here you can hold in his hand maybe, or you could wrap it around something, put it around his wrist. He's not really set up to hold this in any way. It doesn't have a holding hand per se here. So, you'd have to be creative in using this. It's just a really soft plastic. It's not bendy wire, so it's going to go back to its original form, but you can see you can bend it and shift it around, but then it just goes right back. But it looks good. It kind of has a glossy finish to it, and definitely has kind of that McFarlane style artwork that we saw a lot of in the 90s when this guy first came around. Let's jump straight into a closer look at our Cyborg Spider-Man. So we'll bring him up close here so we can take a look at that face. So I really like the way this looks. He's got that eyepiece there that went over his broken, kind of torn up eyepiece from where he got beat up pretty badly there by Solo. Got a kind of a Rambo-ish band there around the top of his head. Looks really good. Looks nice. You can see here, right across his face there, you can see he's got some stitching all the way up, and it goes all the way up to the top of his head there. And that's just some stitching where his costume had to be repaired after he took that beating. Looking at this arm, you can see the arm is massive, big and bulky, a lot more bulky than what you have here, but you got to remember this was made to fit over kind of his destroyed arm, so it could heal over time. So that's kind of the reasoning for this looking so much more bigger and bulky than, you know, his arm that he has there on the right side. Got a nice little piece of armor here. Kind of the, I guess the metal, kind of reminds me of like a Colossus type of arm, much smaller obviously, but it is sculpted in. All the line work on his cybernetic arm is sculpted in. He's got him kind of a Batman pouch here, and if I remember correctly, didn't really use anything out of this, but I think it was given to him to kind of provide him with some more firepower and ammo type of you know, gimmicks and tricks, kind of like Batman, I guess you could say. But I don't remember that he really got much into this. Got here a nice little either tourniquet or wrap here around his thigh, probably to protect some damage that he took. Over here, as we said, we do have the web thwipping hand there. Looks good. As far as QC, I can see here I do have a little bit of silver looking paint here, and then here on my eye I've got just a little bit of something there right on the white of that eye. Might can fix that with a hobby marker or something. But all the other lines in his costume look really good here across his shoulder. The black spider here is real crisp and clean, but all these lines look pretty good. For the most part, they stayed within the lines here on this guy. I try to pick the best one always whenever I'm picking out, you know, from a group. When I got there, they had plenty of Cyborg, plenty of negative Zone Spider-Man. They also had the Rogue and Gambit, and I picked them up, took them all the way to the front counter. They wouldn't let me purchase those due to street date, so I have to go back on the release date in order to get those. And looking at the articulation, we'll run through it really quick and briefly. It's going to be the same as we've seen pretty much with the last retro carded Spider-Man. So here with the head looking down, lots of up, more so than a lot of figures. Plenty of spin, go full 360 if you want to. We do have butterfly joints here in the chest area. Now with this arm here, you can see that's about as high up as I can get either one, but this one's not going to get as high due to this piece of armor right here. However, the armor's connected to the shoulder, so it's going to still allow for that full 360 around. Same on this side. We've got a crunch right here below the chest. You can see that. We get tons of crunch. That's a must for a Spider-Man figure. We do have a waist swivel. It's down below this belt, so we can swivel that waist. You can get the full 360 out to there with the splits. We got a cut at the top of the thigh, double jointed knees, plenty of side to side on the rocker, and then forward and back. Standard Marvel Legends articulation there. Up here, he does have, right here, he's got his standard wrist articulation, be the same on both sides. And then we do have double jointed elbows that move very freely. Very nice right there. And then a swivel at the top of the bicep for both sides. So there you go, guys. The really, really cool Cyborg Spider-Man. Let's bring in a few other figures to compare size, and we'll wrap this video up. All right, guys, so We've got our Cyborg Spider-Man out here with some other Spider-Man characters. The first thing we can note is the darker color here on the other retro carded Spider-Man, and the body molds are different. You can see here all the chest area is different. The legs are pretty much the same. It's going to be a reuse there. The arm appears to be the same, but the torso area is different. We have our Venom pool Build-A-Figure Carnage here, and then our movie figure Venom there. So you can kind of see he's the exact same size as the retro carded Spider-Man figure. But I do like this more bright, this just looks more 90s to me. Now looking at them side by side, I probably would have preferred this color scheme on the retro carded Spider-Man. You also notice he has a larger spider emblem right there in the middle. I'll bring him up a little closer here. So you can see that very, very small image there of the spider logo, a little bit bigger here. So I think overall, I do like the Cyborg makeup better. Really would like to see him release pretty much this same body and paint scheme, but in a regular Spider-Man. So maybe at some point we'll be able to get that. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It helps get this video out there for other folks to see, really helps the channel. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. We'd love to have you as part of the Man Cave Collectibles team. Hopefully here soon we will have our Rogue and Gambit that we'll be able to do a review on as well, the retro carded versions. Leave those comments down below, guys. What do you think of this figure? Have you found him? Are you trying to pick him up? Might be tough if you wait till after Black Friday. I would certainly get out now and see what you can find. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Until next time.